Hi, I'm Marty Shupak. Welcome to Shupak Sports. And today I'm going to go over, I guess, what I would call a youth baseball practice template. This is template number one. I've gotten a number of emails from some of you asking to go over a practice with the drills. So I want to do that now, and I want to thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I'll probably ask you another time at the end. But anyway, well, I usually write out my practices before I do anything else. And you could do it any way you want, whatever works for you. But I do it the old fashioned way on an index card. Okay. So if you look at it, you'll see I have today's date. I have warm up, I have third base drill, line throw drill, bounce and run, butt man on third, know the fence, rapid throw drill, and batting practice. And I have ALT alternate home run derby. I was looking at this particular setup and I was actually questioning myself that I might have one too many things to do in a 60 to 90-minute practice to be effective. But one of the things I want to point out, I'm going to go over each drill, is that there's a transition time going from one drill to another drill. I find that very important as far as setting up. And if you know ahead of time what you're going to do, and somehow you can manipulate one drill on top of another drill that takes place on the same part of the field, it'll save you a lot of time. All right. So I'll go over that. And I made a copy of this for my book. And this is another sample of, I put on an index cards. I read out the drills for the day or today's practice. Listen, I do it the old fashioned way. If you are more comfortable doing it on an iPad or a smartphone, do it that way. Do it whatever is comfortable for you where you're going to run an efficient practice. Okay. So I know beforehand that the first three drills, it's tattooed in my mind. And from my book, by the way, I have 60 sample practices. This is sample practice number one. So this is early in the year. If you look, I have warming up. And unbeknownst to me, or unfortunately, the first couple of years I coached, I didn't put too much emphasis on warming up. Studies have shown, though, even for a small amount of time, if you warm up, it helps in the long run as a preventive of injuries. Besides that, you're getting kids into some nice lifetime habits when they see that you're warming up. So obviously you don't want to, I mean, I will do the simplest thing, anywhere from like doing some jumping jacks, arm rotations, running around the infield. And I don't do it that long. I keep it short. On this, so after warming up, we have the third base drill. I have been doing this drill since I started coaching. And the reason I do this drill is I do it from third base. I divide the team up, and it's really not showing the right amount. It should be 4 players in each base. Usually you have 12 people on a roster. I would have 4 people at home, 4 at third, and 4 at first. I usually have a catcher, and he has a ball in his glove. I have a ball where I hit out a ground ball. He throws it to first, and the first baseman throws it to the catcher. Now, while he's throwing from third to first, I'll actually turn around and I'll just say ball, and the catcher who has a ball will hand it to me or flip it to me. And what happens is after the first person goes, he goes to the end of the line and they move up. Same thing on every line. The only line that I don't rotate every particular hit is the catching. And I do this because I think it's safer if I keep the same catcher for 2 or 3 turns, and then I rotate them. After everybody has gone once or sometimes twice, we'll rotate. Third will go to first. All 4, first will go home, and home will go to third base. But I just want to point out one of the things I do on the last ground ball, and by the way, I always have the player who goes next as a backup. Sometimes the ball will go beyond the backup and will go out into the outfield. I just yell out, leave the ball alone. I always make sure I have a bucket of balls around home plate. Remember, if you spend any of your extra money, or if you have extra money, spend it on extra baseballs. The one thing I do on the last ground ball to each player, you could do this two ways. You could give the first player, each player, like 3 turns in a row before they rotate, or you could rotate every ground ball. But whatever you do on the last ground ball, I'll yell out bobble drill. I'll have them pick it up and drop it, then pick up the ball with the barehanded, throw it to first. What I'm trying to convey to the players is that you don't necessarily have to catch the ball, but you keep it in front of you. If you drop it or bobble it, you still have time to make the out. And this is a great thing because we're conditioning the players that if they do drop the ball, their first reaction will be pick it up and try to get the base runner out. So that's the third base drill, kind of a warm-up drill. And I transition right from there. And if I have an assistant coach, he'll help set it up where I do what's called the line throw drill. I line up balls at shortstop and third base. I have 2 first basemen. There's usually a bucket. I'll stand right over there. I'll point to the first player at third. I say, go. He'll run, pick up the ball, throw it to first. And then he goes to the end of the line at shortstop. I yell, go. The player at shortstop picks it up, throws it to first, and it keeps going like this. I have 2 first basemen. I have an extra bucket there behind the base. They dump the balls in there. And I usually give players 2 or 3 opportunities. It goes very fast, and it's a great warm-up drill. Remember, in practices, the name of the game is repetitions, repetitions, repetitions. You want to give players quantity repetitions and quality repetitions. Right after line throw drill, and again, I might refer to my index card. All right. And as I said, this is an early season practice. It's actually listed in my book, Baseball Coaching, as the first practice. I do what's called the bounce and run drill. I'm obsessed with base running. I maintain most coaches don't practice base running. I don't care if you coach an 8-year-old kids or high school kids or college. If you spend time practicing base running, you can get an extra 1 to 2 runs a game. What I do is I line the team up at second base. I have a shortstop, I have a third baseman, I have a first baseman. I throw or hit a ground ball, either third or short. The base runner has to bounce off the base. He doesn't run till the fielder releases the ball, then he goes to the next base. So then I have a player at third, and there's a player, next player's up at second. We do the same thing. I throw it to either third or short. They bounce off the base. They don't run till they see the release of the ball. We're conditioning them how to read the ball and not to run until they see the release. After the player at third base goes home, he goes around, goes to the end of the line. Now, what I do is this. I usually set up a single with the fielders, okay? Like I'll rub my chin or I'll scratch my nose. And if they see that, they know that when I throw them, hit them a ground ball, they're going to fake a throw. The reason we do this in practice, a lot of times you'll catch the base runner off the base, excuse me, and then I'll go and tag them. And it's a very good learning point because this drill is showing the players exactly why they can't leave until the ball is released. Okay, so that's the bounce and run drill. Then on this particular one, we go to another drill, which kind of is similar. It's called the Bun Man on third. It's a strategy that, and I'll always be in I always like to bunt. All right. I'm very big on bunting. So whenever I have a base runner on third base, less than 2 out, I'll always put in the bunt. And in this drill, we line them up at third, the players, and we'll have a coach pitch and a coach will be at bat. He'll bunt it. And the player on third base will bounce off the base, never going past the third baseman. The third baseman will field the ball, and upon the release of the ball, the base runner cuts for home. All right? You don't have to do it in practice, but I always tell my players, you must slide in the game. You have to slide. There's no question. You must slide. Again, like the bounce and run drill, once in a while, I'll have a single or a sign, and I'll have the field, the third baseman, fake the throw, see if he can catch the base runner off base. Okay? You don't want to be too aggressive, because I've seen coaches, and I've done it, where I'll have the shortstop come behind him, and we'll have a signal like green, where the fielder, third baseman, fielding the throw. If he hears green, he turns around, throws it to the shortstop covering third. But again, this is a base running drill. And if you practice it, you're going to get some runs too. Okay? All right. Next drill. And just looking at this practice, I could tell you that I don't have enough a fun drill integrated that quickly, which I should have. Okay, I should have put a fun drill in there. This is what I call the foul ball fence drill. You could run this on both sides of the field, first base and third base. Line the players up, and what I do is I'll throw a pop fly near the fence, and I teach them how they have to put their hand out, if it's the glove hand, closest to the fence, feel it for where it is, and make the play. And I started doing this because early in my coaching career, a couple of times it happened where the first baseman was under the pop foul, and he was hesitant upon catching it, and plop, the ball went down, and it was like, I hate giving away outs. This drill, like I said, if you have the coaches, you could run it on third base too. All right. So you get a lot of repetition. Remember, repetition is what you want to do. All right. And going to the next drill. Then you go to a fun drill. And again, I'm following my index card. We did the warm up. We did the third base drill, line throw drill, bounce and run, bunt man on third. That's a strategy. We did know the fence. And now we're going to do the rapid throw drill. This is where I divide the team in half. And I try to do it evenly, so I don't have the two best players as pairs. And they're like 20, 30 feet apart. They have a ball. And when I say go, they have to throw it back and forth as fast as they could. And what they do is they count the repetitions. And after like 10 or 15 seconds, they all stop. And I go down the line and ask them what's the number is. Okay. Great drill. Kids love competition. What I do is I have one side of each team, they have a ball at their ankles. And what I'm doing is if there's an overthrow either way, that's a second chance. They just pick up the ball. Normally, everyone's on the honor system and it works out well. Make sure you spread them out, okay? Balls are flying all over the place. After one or two turns, I'll move back one line like 10 feet, all right? I'll make it a longer game. All right. So again, this practice looks like it's going to be anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. Once you get used to the drills, you're going to be able to transition faster. I threw in this alternate drill before batting practice, home run derby, where I put two drop-down bases between the pitcher's mound and second base. And I use each one of these bases, including the second. Second base is for 10-year-olds. The one in the middle is for 11-year-olds. The one closest to the mound is 10-year-olds. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 12-year-olds. So it's 10, 11, 12. And I pitch from over here, and I give everyone, a few chances. And kids that will never hit a home run in their life, they love this drill. And what I also do is, and it's actually more popular, I'll bring in an old tennis racket and tennis balls, and I have tennis racket home run derby set up the same way. Okay. You could, again, you have an alternate drill. You can see how practice is going. After that, I do a regular batting practice. And if you didn't see my session on how to run a batting practice, I highly recommend it. I'll try to put a link underneath. Keep in mind also, this practice being an early season practice, I usually have a 5 or 10 minute block where I'll put game situations. I'll review the previous game of odd situation that either worked or didn't work, what we did wrong, where we had an overthrow. Again, this is where you want the players to learn. I try to have 2 practices for every game. All right. So leading up to the season, I'll try to get in like 10 or 15 practices. But if it's a 20-game season during the season, I'll have like 40 practices. And then if we have playoffs, I'll try to squeeze in a few more practices before we start the playoffs. But that really is the essence of the template. And just so you know, that all these drills have come from this book, Championship Baseball Drills, which I recommend. And this other book I've been pushing, especially you young coaches. If you have to buy a book, buy this book. I promise you, you'll use it as a resource for 4 or 5 years. Baseball Coach and a guide for the youth coach and parent. I'll have some more practice templates. I will get outside, I promise you. All right. But obviously, this is a lot more conducive to getting these videos out. So until next time, this has been Marty Shupak for Shupak Sports. As I said, please subscribe. I want to keep this format going. When you see the subscribe button, just hit it. If you give me a thumbs up, that would be great. So until next time.